Welcome to the Uncommon Transformation television series.
You are welcome to Akpabio 6, the land of uncommon transformation. Come and join us, live amongst us, and invest, and you will not regret. I welcome you.
The huge investment by the Governor Akpabio administration in Information and Communication Technology ICT, as evidenced in the building of the e-library, the new Governor's office, as well as the development of a technology-driven education curriculum, which has put the state on the information superhighway, found expression at the just concluded celebration of the ITU World Telecommunications Conference in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, during which the state governor, His Excellency Chief Godswill Akpabio, revealed his administration's policy in positioning the state to take pole position as the country moves to occupy an important position in the ICT world. Under the Akpabio administration, there is a broadband internet coverage which traverses the entire state, deployment of a robust web technology for information dissemination, online real-time project monitoring system, large-scale computer program, and deployment of biometric and data capturing technology to check ghost worker syndrome. The motor licensing system, as well as the payroll and accounting processes, has equally been automated for greater efficiency, while the workforce is constantly trained and provided with laptop computers to keep abreast with the current trend.
There's no gainsaying the fact that without the serious skill acquisition in the ICT industry, Nigeria cannot meet up with the global community. The world has gone ICT. The world has become a global village. So for us to actually train our children to become competitive in the future, even in terms of job creation, we must also create jobs that are tailored towards skill acquisition in the ICT industry. But that's the only way we can go. The educational system must be revamped in such a way that every Nigerian child has the ICT skill. It is going to be embedded. Otherwise, we'll be left behind. Everything in the world now has gone digital. That's the simple truth. And that's the kind of thing that I've tried to practice in my state in the last 5.5 years as a governor. I've gone digital even in terms of service delivery, in terms of planning, execution, monitoring, and all that. Everything is ICT. So I don't see ICT being divulged from Nigeria in terms of development. Every facet of Nigerian life is going to be facilitated. Every sector will grow. Even the agricultural sector will grow with the ICT. So communication is key. And of course, being able to access funding, being able to access information, being able to access the latest technology, even in terms of agriculture and others, is through the ICT. So it's going to be part and parcel of the Nigerian life. And I believe that every Nigerian child must be given the equal opportunity to acquire this skill going forward.
The growth of the telecoms sector has been quite phenomenal within the last decade following the regulation of the sector. This, according to industry players, has helped to boost the nation's economy, even in the face of global economic downturn, contributing more than 5% of the nation's GDP in terms of employment generation, wealth creation, poverty reduction, and other human-related activities. This is a great departure from the past, when telecommunications witnessed an all-time low in terms of performance in Nigeria. To celebrate these achievements and showcase to the rest of the world the abundant potentials inherent in the sector, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, in collaboration with major stakeholders in the industry, such as service providers, participated at an event to mark this year's World Telecommunications Conference in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Governor Akpabio is not new in the telecoms industry in Nigeria. Apart from being a lawyer, Akpabio had variously played leading roles in the Association of Telecom Companies of Nigeria, as well as served as Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Emis Telecoms, a pioneer private telecoms operator in Nigeria. In a goodwill message on the occasion, Akwa Ibom State Governor Chief Godswill Akpabio said, despite the initial aversion to calls for deregulation of the sector by the private telephone operators PTOs as far back as 1995, the sector has within the last 10 years witnessed unprecedented growth. He said from positive 700,000 subscribers in 2001, the industry has now moved up to 80 million subscribers.
For me, my goodwill message is that of a beneficiary of the enormous work done by the federal government of Nigeria through the NCC. We went around the world, about 22 countries, looking for investors to come into the telecoms industry. We had impediments at home. We had the larger-than-life NITEL, where people were not ready to change. NCC was put in place as far back as 1992, and yet, for many years, it remained irrelevant. In 1995, we went to Ghana. We saw small children with telephone from primary schools talking to their parents in front of the hotel we stayed, and we watched in amazement. We said, can this happen in our country? So you can imagine the joy that I stand today as one of those. In fact, I was the first representative of the PTOs, the private telephone operators, when we attempted to discuss with NITEL about interconnectivity. I represented the PTOs at that time. And we tried everything to say, we put the switches in place. We spend the big money. And you just interconnect us, let us share from this. NITEL insisted we must work for it. So the first interconnectivity agreement we had was 78 kobo to NITEL and 22 kobo to the operator. In fact, if you say naira, if you charge 100 naira, 22 naira will go to the owner of the switch, who does the big investment, and 78 naira will go to NITEL. And yet, they were not ready to interconnect. At that time, we had less than 700,000 telephone lines, and less than 450,000 were working. And it was impossible to talk to people. My own mother would not have died in year 2000 if we had telephone. She had a very small operation, and she needed to be transferred. Nobody could get to me. The North 9 North that we had was impossible. I kept asking my junior brother, what are you saying? If I had to go to the third mainland bridge, I stood there and I tried to speak to my brother. It was impossible. 3 days later, my mother died. So you can imagine now the joy of you sitting down to know when your child has slight malaria and you are in Abuja, you are able to talk to your child. From a paltry 700,000 lines that we had when this business started in 2001, in fact, when we interconnected in 1998, we were doing the first fixed wireless. People did not think it was possible. So, Your Excellency, you can imagine the joy of transformation that today we are talking about over 88 million telephone lines working in our dear country. And this is a lesson for investors. We tried to get people to come in to invest in the telecoms industry. They were not interested. We went to many countries. In fact, we used to go to Ghana for meetings as far back as 1994 and 1995. But today you can see the boom in the industry. Nigeria remains one of the countries in the world where anything you invest in, even if you invest in sand, you get maximum return, more than any other country in the world. So, the telecoms industry tells the story of the transformation It tells the story of profitability. It tells the story to the international community that yes, in spite of the challenges in our dear country, Nigeria still remains that country you must put your money in, and you will have the maximum return on investment. So I want to congratulate the Etisalat Group and the NCC for the opportunity to be here. And also let you know that today you can imagine when the Titanic, the global big ship, sunk many years ago. You remember what happened? It took about 2 weeks before the world knew the disaster. The tragedy that befell the world took about 2 weeks. If we had communications as it is today, within 2 to 3 minutes, even some of those who were about to perish would have sent messages. And you can imagine the number of lives that would have been saved.
Governor Akpabio also informed the gathering that his administration, in keying into the transformation agenda of the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan administration, has established an e-library, the first major such facility in Africa, where one can access up to 60 million ICT materials from across educational institutions around the world, with the benefit of over 300 workstations all in one place. He extended his invitation to prospective investors to partner the state to tap from the vast economic potentials that are available.
And for me, I don't have anything to say on behalf of my state, except to say that I've keyed into the transformation agenda of Mr. President. I have established the first e-library in the whole of Africa, the best e-library in the whole of Africa. And Your Excellency, I don't know whether some of them are aware, but when they come, they will come to see it. If I were to tell you, the e-library was designed as a one-stop information and research center for all of you. It has over 30,000 in terms of books. It has over 350 ICT workstations. It comes complete with distance learning support and professional certifications, with spacious conference halls, with so many. It has about 60 million e-learning books at your beck and call. And the library has state-of-the-art anti-theft book security device. It operates an interface website, and it has a book digitization equipment and provides wired and wireless internet access. It also has a mobile e-library van to go to our rural communities. This is one area that I think that the NCC Chief Executive should take all the dignitaries here to come and see what is happening. It's a revolution in terms of ICT. And I welcome you to Akpabio State and Nigeria.
A few months ago, the nation's #1 citizen, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, was in Akpabio State to commission the e-library, a facility which has become a maker of some sort for global citizens and notable Nigerians who have been visiting the project.
So the federal government is quite happy to associate with this James rights, and especially for this e-library. Yesterday I did mention Nigeria lost out when we talked about the Industrial Revolution, but they took our people as slaves to go and work elsewhere. This is talking about digital revolution. I think we must kill it. We should not be left behind. This is a good way to bring the people of Akpabio and those who are here to join the rest of the world in the IT revolution. So we are grateful as we formally commissioned this project for the use of Akpabio State, other Nigerians that are here, and indeed the rest of the world. And I'm doing this commissioning in honor and glory of God.
President Jonathan was also in the state to commission the ICT-driven ultra-modern governor's office built by the Akpabio administration within just 8 months. The edifice, which amazes the visitors, is built with the latest ICT facilities available in the world. Its world-class facilities allows the state chief executive to hold State Executive Council ESCO meetings far away from the seat of government in Uyo, using the e-conferencing facility, while the data bank has the capability to record all the proceedings of the meeting electronically without human operators. With work completed on the e-library, the new governor's office, governor's lodge, the Tropicana Entertainment Center, among others, the state, all would agree, had already prepared for the ICT revolution which is being witnessed in Nigeria.
So we're putting a stop to this state we will supply them all servants for the rest of the nation. And they do not merely say this, they create structures and institutions to ensure that this is a sustainable transformation of the young generation. That will be so I want to thank you, Mr. Governor, for putting your money where your mouth is. For having the commitment, the conscience to look beyond yourself, the generation, the well-to-do. And so we're bringing the rest up to enjoy the privileges that we have known, the opportunities that we have had. And for this over and beyond anything else, the physical structures which I have seen, so on, for me, they are all geared towards the same vision, towards the same enterprise.
Innovation in action. This is state of the art. The architecture is very impressive. It's a tremendous working environment. And what's interesting, you're capturing the young people from a very early age. And nowadays, if you want to be up to speed, you have to be proficient in ICT. So it's a tremendous initiative, Governor. I want to congratulate you and Akpabio State on this. It's futuristic.
We are witnesses to something that maybe will happen once in a lifetime. A man changing the destiny of the people. The governor of Akpabio has shown it. I was talking to the Minister of Works when we were coming here, and I told him that if the governor of Akpabio had not been a PDP governor, the whole world will be hearing about him. The whole nation, the whole world will be hearing if he had been of the opposition party. This is a PDP governor. What he's doing is monumental. What he's doing is unbelievable. What he's doing can only happen once in a generation.
His Excellency, the Governor of Akpabio State, because he's doing a phenomenal job. It's one of the first states that I visit, and I've traveled around Nigeria quite a lot, that I see that the resources are properly allocated and really for the people. So I compliment him.
The library is a phantom. When I mean, it's a phenomenon, sorry, not a phantom. It's something that will explode. Its reach you cannot access in one whole piece at a time. It has the capacity to link you to the whole world. It has the capacity to expose the Akpabio people and even beyond. It has capacity to tie up the whole state, the whole libraries in the whole state, and bring people to the realization that you can read not even from the electronic media and keep them up and doing. And it will keep them open to the world, the global village. So the whole of Akpabio now is connected to the global village. That is what I see happening there.
Thank you, sir. I wish you safe journey as you go back.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Please. Vice President Namadi Sambo, who represented President Goodluck Jonathan, declared open the event. Architect Sambo told the gathering that the Nigerian telecommunications sector has within the last few years witnessed unprecedented growth, a development, he added, occasioned the establishment of a separate ministry, the Telecommunications and Technology Ministry, to oversee its affairs, and also fast-tracked the system. He commended former Vice Chairman of the NCC, Dr. Ernest Ndukwe, and others who played pivotal roles in the emergence of the sector as a strong force to reckon with in the last 1 decade. Vice President Sambo added that the federal government was doing everything to provide the right environment and equally working with state and local governments to improve education at all levels, to also provide the right human capital required by the sector, while it has also stepped up security for the protection of lives and property of the investors. And the burden of double taxation on the service providers, Vice President Sambo said a bill that will address the anomaly is currently before the National Assembly and will receive expedited consideration.
The development of this sector, of course, cannot grow in an island. So therefore, I would like to take just a few minutes to share with you some of the added values that we are putting in Nigeria to allow this planned growth. And one of the major aspects is the issue of adequate power supply. I would like to share with you that in 2010, when this administration, when we came into government, Nigeria was generating only about 2,000 megawatts of power. Today, we are generating 4,300. And we are building 10 new thermal power plants, which are all at an advanced completion stage, and these 10 thermal power plants will add 5,000 megawatts to our grid. So we are ensuring also that the institutional framework that is needed to give the enabling environment for investors in terms of the legal institutional framework that will allow an atmosphere that is of international standard for our foreign investors. I will therefore seize the opportunity to call upon you to come to Nigeria as the new frontier for good return on your investment in the telecom area.
Participants at the World Telecoms Day event expressed joy over the progress made by the country's telecoms industry, even as they advocated more transparency in the operations.
It is the need for us to support the ICT industry because it's been a revolution in Nigeria. It has assisted in all facets of development. Communication is very important. And so what I've taken away from here is the need for state governments, the local governments, to give them support and avoid this issue of double taxation in order to allow investment to thrive. Because if unnecessary taxation comes into the system, it will bring a further impediment. It's going to stop us from the kind of revolution that we are seeing. Expansion will not be possible. And also the fact that, yes, indeed, the telecoms industry has done well, the ICT industry has done well. It is important for state governments to key in.
We're taking home two things. First of all, that we've been able to showcase Nigeria's ICT achievements and also the opportunities for investments in ICT in Nigeria. That's one thing we're taking away. I think we're also taking away the fact that we're not just here to talk. Having the Vice President here for the last 3 days has just validated the fact that ICT is important to the development of the Nigerian economy.
On behalf of the NCC, I welcome all of you, our colleagues from the various industries and everybody who has come here.
This is the area which I believe that the nation is going to benefit, because having Nigeria being one of the fastest growing telecoms industry in the world, I believe that we have a lot of potentials in Nigerian telecommunication sector.
Well, actually, my expectation was high, and I'm impressed that I met my expectation here. Honestly, the IT is the biggest role in all endeavors, because as you can see, there's nothing you can mold in an ICT way that within a click you are where you are.
Broadband is the way to go today. As we know it, broadband, I always say, is a transformational tool, in the sense that broadband is an enabler of growth and development. It's an enabler of new businesses. It's an enabler of connecting communities and all of that. And what I see broadband doing for Nigeria is providing a platform for Nigerians to be all connected, person to person, business to business, machines to machines. And when this is done, then what we'll have is an enhanced lifestyle.
Akwa Ibom State is in pole position for the emerging telecoms industry in Nigeria. With a pedigree dating back to year 2001 when the state bought into the erstwhile Econet, the state has not done badly in this regard. Under Governor Godswill Akpabio, the ICT sector has been reinvigorated, and all that is needed is for investors within and outside the country to take advantage of the peaceful ambience and conducive business climate and invest heavily in the state for all-round returns for their investments.